its thing just to load. With all the latest discussion and football news from the football world, this is Football Central. And go, Sam.
Hello everybody and welcome to Football Central. We are here today to preview the match between Chelsea and Manchester United, the third major clash this season between two teams who are very much on the same track. Which teams will turn up and what will be all the team news? Find out with us here on Football Central. Joining me today is the host of the show, Mr. TubeMix himself.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
The very boring but dependable JLIWheels.
Oh, well, thank you very much, mate.
And your favourite person, me, Sam Taylor.
Oh, great. Hello, everybody.
Over to you, TubeMix.
Okay, thank you very much, Sam. That was a classy intro as always. You're always great at the
really
intros.
Yeah. Oh, I am natural, absolutely natural.
How much are you paying him, Will?
and so you're both good at doing the intros.
Get him off your payroll.
So as Sam said and George said, welcome to Football Central. With me, your host TubeMix, and of course JLIWheels and Sam Taylor, and we're here to build up to today's massive game. Two teams which are really on the same page in terms of being very inconsistent. And
you're just copying what I said.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's pretty much the same idea.
Stop nicking my ideas.
Yes. So let's start with the team news. So I'll just get it up for you.
I've got it up.
Oh right. Oh okay.
Okay, we'll start with United, as you guys are United fans. We got De Gea in goal, with Wan-Bissaka and Shaw on the right and left flank, respectively. Lindelof and Maguire at the back, with McTominay, Fred as the holding midfielders. Juan Mata and Daniel James on the flanks, with Bruno Fernandes through the middle and Rashford up front. On the bench, Paul Pogba, Edinson Cavani, Mason Greenwood, Dean Henderson, Nemanja Matic, Donny van der Beek and Axel Tuanzebe. Chelsea in goal, what's his name? Edouard Mendy with Azpilicueta and Reece James on the flanks. Kurt Zouma and Thiago Silva in central defence. Jorginho and Kante as holding midfielders. And then I don't know where Ben Chilwell fits into this team. I don't know the formation, but he is in the team. And then there's Havertz, Pulisic and Werner. On the bench, Rudiger, Abraham, Caballero, Kovacic, Giroud, Mount and Ziyech.
Thank you very much, JLIWheels. So a couple of changes in the team. Obviously, Axel Tuanzebe coming out for Harry Maguire, and I would guess it's not a back three.
No, it's not.
It's not a back three. There we go.
No, it's a back four.
To me, that's very annoying. I hoped Twanzebe would start ideally with Maguire and Shaw in a back
Don't you
three.
think? Don't you think
So
though? Sorry, don't you think that it's quite a pressurized environment for a young player to start in a game like that?
Can't be any more pressure than that Paris Saint-Germain, though,
yes, I have to agree with that.
in the Champions League.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess that's my personal opinion on PSG. I don't think PSG are a Chelsea or a Man United, are they?
No, but it's a big game.
And also,
So
really,
if you said which is bigger, this game today or the PSG and the ones that the both teams done midweek, I'd probably say the midweek games in the Champions League.
no, I think the bigger games are the bigger games are the league games. The league's more important than the Champions League.
I don't know for them two clubs because they're not gonna win the league. So yeah,
No.
you need to be consistent, obviously, but give the Champions League a real go. So
Yeah, I suppose it's a hard one, isn't it?
Consistency of selection in the league is quite important, and maybe if United find themselves in a situation where they're struggling, then they can bring Twanzebe on. I mean, he did have a good game. I've seen
He was
the highlights.
brilliant. He was.
I've listened to United fans. It sounded like he did have a great game. Two promising results for both teams. I think the most important thing for Chelsea, should have won the game in Sevilla, but for me, seeing how bad the defence has been, it's that they did get a clean sheet. And again, for United, PSG away in Paris is a big result. So as we've said multiple times, and we said it just before we came on air, that it just depends which team turns up, depends who wants it more.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting, isn't it?
Definitely,
it is, and we will see. We will see what happens. I think it's one of the hardest matches between these two to predict because you just don't know who's going to turn up.
And that's why me and Will didn't predict it.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised James is playing. And that Matter is playing. Matic isn't playing. So I wouldn't have selected James because I'm not sure he's quite at that top level.
I think he's been good though since he's played, because he's played him on the left where his actual good position is.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's quite ready. I think
I'm not
he's
sure
good,
about that.
but he's not good. He's not. You look at his end product though. He's got a lot of pace, but at the minute he's not got a lot of end products. I think we should have loaned James out in the summer.
Yeah, I like the idea of a Leeds loan move for Dan James. Leeds wanted him. Leeds were the championship team interested in him before he went to United, weren't they?
Yes, yeah, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah, he nearly signed from Swansea.
So I don't know. It's a big call. He seems to make these quite big selection decisions, Ollie.
Mind you,
I'm not sure playing Fred and McTominay together is a good is good, but we will see how it goes.
Didn't they do really well against PSG?
They did, yes.
Yeah, I'm just not quite sure. I mean, them two together, I don't know. I mean, Ollie sees them, doesn't he?
When you've had two holding midfielders that have been able to kind of neutralise one of the best front threes in Europe, in Mbappe, Neymar, and Di Maria, in terms of actual quality, because say whatever you want about the quality of the French league, we know how good Neymar is, we know how good Di Maria is as well, and we also know that Mbappe is just a frightening player. So for me, if I was a manager, I'd see that they've been able to do that, and I would probably keep the faith with them, in my opinion. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with the way that Chelsea play, and the sheer pace of the likes of Pulisic and Werner, and then Chilwell for a fullback. He's quite quick, but he can also defend. So, it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's very, very interesting to see it.
What do you think of Chelsea's team?
I'm just interested to see where Chilwell fits in, because I can see that they've got James starting, so he could easily start in midfield. We know that he can play in midfield. I think he against Southampton he came on. He was in midfield, so he's not he is a versatile player. It just didn't seem to make sense to me to. But Chilwell's been impressive, so I'm glad that he got the nod.
Chilwell needs to play. They're not signing for 60 million to sit on the bench.
I think from here it says that Chelsea are playing a back three, I think, according to this.
Alright, so Azpilicueta and Chilwell will be wing backs then.
Left wing back, yeah.
Right, with James at centre half.
Presume so, yeah.
Not sure about that. Dear me. I've said this 101 times. I'd like Azpilicueta at centre half, but James.
He's not got the pace to be a fullback anymore.
Yeah, but he has got the defensive capability. That's what I mean. Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. If it was me, Azpilicueta will get in that team every day of the week, but not as a fullback anymore, unless you needed him to play there. So I'll play him as in a centre half position. Because his reading of the game is second to none. He's been the most underrated player in the Premier League, in my opinion.
I agree. Azpilicueta is a phenomenal.
Absolute world class has been. Alright, his best days are probably behind him, but it's still better than any of the Chelsea that are.
Yeah, I agree. Apart from maybe Chilwell. Chilwell.
Well, yeah, I just mean in terms of that centre defensive role, is still probably the best. If we take Chilwell as a fullback, but if we're talking pure centre half, he'd do better than any of the centre halves we've got.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. I know Cavani's on the bench, but I'm looking forward to seeing whether he's going to come in off the bench and have an impact, or he's going to do like a Thiago Silva and kind of struggle for a few games. And
how did Thiago Silva play the other night?
I think he did really well. I think him and Zuma did really well.
I didn't see the game.
All I know is that Mendy pulled off a ridiculous save, but I've not seen it. But
I've not seen it, but I've heard about it and read about it.
I saw a picture of it, and it looks like a ridiculous save.
He looks like a proper goalie to me. I mean, who he reminds me of? He looks a bit like Andre Onana. I don't know what you think, but he's got that similar.
It's kind of difficult because they're both black, so you're moving into dodgy territory for me.
I mean, in terms of the physique. I mean, he reminds me.
I think that Mendy isn't that well built, whereas Onana, from what I've seen of him, he seems quite not a big fella, but
I think Mendy looks physically, for a goalkeeper, because you want your goalkeeper to be physical. So yeah, I think he looks like commanding to me. The games I've seen him, I've only seen clips of him. The point is,
I agree that he looks commanding.
And that might be easy to say because let's be honest, Chelsea goalkeepers of late haven't been commanding. So he's not had to do a lot to look commanding.
Well,
it's very early days.
You look at Kepa and Caballero. I think Caballero was more commanding than Pepper? No, that's not his name. Kepa. But the problem with Caballero was his age, and I think his age was showing because he did look quite shaky at times. And I like Mendy. You know, he came from the same place as Czech. He was very quick to dismiss.
His story is great as well, you know. Before becoming a goalkeeper, you know, his background. I don't know if you've.
Why? What's happened to him?
I think I saw something.
Well, he just sort of he didn't expect to be playing football, basically.
What? Because he was told he wasn't good enough.
Wasn't he playing in the French fourth tier like 5 years ago or something like that?
Maybe. I think that might be it, yeah.
It'd help if you're going to tell a story that you actually know the facts.
It's a bit like Kante, like 3 years before Leicester signed him, he was in the 7th tier of French football.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest. A lot of those kinds of stories are more prevalent now in football, aren't they?
I like it. I always want players to do well that have had hardship because they know how it is to have to work.
That's one of the reasons I've always been such a big fan of Charlie Austin. Because he was a
bricklayer. He was a bricklayer.
On his day, he was a great player, and it's just, I don't know, not worked out for him, has it? I don't think it's worked out for him since he sort of had a go at the about the referee or VAR or whatever it was a couple of years ago.
Oh gosh, yeah, I remember someone making a video to Park Life to that.
Yeah, I think I've seen that as well.
It's really funny.
But yeah, I like Mendy, what I've seen of him, so it'll be interesting to see how he does again. It's another one where he might come under the spotlight. Similarly with De Gea, had a really good game, I thought, against PSG.
He did. He made a really good save. He made a couple of good saves, actually.
Yes, he did.
But I'm still not entirely convinced just by one game.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think it's harsh, but still fair. You know, you're allowed
He's a class goalie, though. He's a class goalie. So you imagine if he does get into some sort of rhythm, if he plays well today, and then maybe like Will said, and Will made a good point last time, saying that Dean Henderson has provided competition for him. So
yes,
so
he's given a good kick up the backside. Yeah,
I felt the same of Pickford with Robin Olsen coming in.
Yeah,
because I actually, like I said on the review show, you know, other than the tackle and the not exactly covering himself in glory for the disallowed goal, which doesn't really matter because it was disallowed. I actually thought Pickford had one of his better games for Everton.
Yeah.
He did. Taking away the disallowed goal, like you say.
He made a few good saves in that game as well, Pickford.
Well, Pickford's capable of that. I mean, Kepa's capable of that. You look at Mignolet in his time at Liverpool, he made some great saves. And Karius. But they made some real howlers.
Karius, I'm not sure.
No, he did.
I actually think Karius got a really, really, really unfair crack of the whip at Liverpool. Because one game, I know it was a Champions League final, but one game, you know, ruined his career at Liverpool. You know, since then, I think there's only been one really high-profile mistake where he completely left his goal when he was on loan at Besiktas and got like chipped from 40 yards or something like that. But you know, that's the thing. The thing is about Kepa, and I don't think Kepa is a very good goalkeeper. Let's not mince words.
Oh
but
my God! Sorry, it's Stoke 3, Brentford 2.
Oh no, I saw that. Michael O'Neill's done a great job at Stoke. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if we didn't see them, you know, sort of loitering around the playoffs this year.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, he is doing a good job there. Yeah.
One of the ones I like that he signed Stephen Fletcher. Now,
He's been a good player.
I'm sure we all know who Stephen Fletcher is.
Sheffield Wednesday. He played for Sunderland. Played for.
Yeah.
Let me just look him up because the name doesn't seem
Swansea.
familiar, but his face might.
Sunderland, Wolves, Burnley.
Yeah.
He's been here, there, and everywhere. Sheffield Wednesday. Anyway, we are getting way off topic, but the point being is that sometimes bringing players in and especially in the goalkeeper position, I think it's happened before. You know, you look at a good example I think in recent years is Burnley. You know, they brought in Peacock Farrell from Leeds, who was Leeds' number one, and then they brought in Joe Hart as well, and I think it did push Nick Pope to up his game.
Yes, Burnley had 3 wonderful keepers.
Yeah, and they've still got. I don't know. I think the problem with Burnley at the minute is that there's nobody's ever going to dislodge Nick Pope, because no matter where Burnley are, he's still a class keeper and one of the better keepers in the league.
Fulham have got a goal back.
They're down to 10 men though. I doubt they'll do anything.
No. Imagine that though. That'd be absolutely amazing if they managed to come back.
And I feel quite sorry for Scott Parker as well. I don't know how much involvement he's had in the process of buying and selling players, but I like him, obviously.
Yeah.
Ex-player.
The owner seems a bit of a nugget.
Absolute knobhead. Yeah, idiot.
Yeah, it's getting that balance, isn't it? Because obviously they spent loads of money last time they were up, and then they went straight down, but not adding to the squad. Yeah, it's a difficult one.
The thing is that the owner coming out and apologising for the team's performance to the fans and doing it publicly like that is just terrible.
It stinks, that. It really does, it stinks. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because it undermines...
Yeah, I was going to say, how undermining is that?
Your manager. And it's like, when Paul Scholes went to Oldham.
Oh, God, yeah.
And he only lasted for 27 days or something. But
he's at Salford now, isn't he?
He is, in interim, but he's ruled himself out of the permanent job.
Yeah, he don't want it, does he?
No.
Anyway, carry on, sorry.
But he was saying that the owner got to a point where he picked the team. Like, Paul Scholes went to pick his team, and then the owner was coming into training and going, "No, you're gonna have to pick these players."
See what I mean? That's dreadful. That's awful.
He said, "No, you're selecting this player, this player, this player, this player. This is my team, my club. You do what I say." And Paul Scholes said,
I was watching
Paul
a
Scholes said,
podcast.
"I'm the manager." So no.
I was watching a podcast with David Dunn, and he actually said a similar thing, because obviously he was Oldham manager before. I think it was before Scholes actually, and he said a certain thing about the owner wanting to get too involved and just toxicity around Oldham in general. I've been to Oldham. I went to Oldham last year to watch them crew away, and it was one of the emptiest away grounds I've ever been.
My dad's a massive Oldham fan, so he was born in Oldham, so
yeah. I mean, it's a a nice ground. Like, I think, it's one of the newer grounds, isn't it? But yeah, not a nice place. Not a nice place. Anyway,
Yeah.
the point being is that sometimes owners can have a massive effect on the. I mean, look at what was the name of the Palace bloke, Simon Jordan. I've only ever heard bad things about him.
Hasn't he
He was
left
the owner
now?
of. Yeah, he was the owner of Palace, wasn't he? Before Steve Parish, was he?
And apparently he was like a massive. Apparently, according to stuff I've heard, he's one of the biggest knobheads in football.
Right.
Look at Blackpool's. I know we're getting off subject, but
No, I think it's an interesting discussion. It's still football.
Look at Blackpool's owners.
Oh yeah, the Oystons.
And Charlton's problem.
Oh, we've got someone on the live chat. We have.
Where you go on then?
Yep. Sifo Nalet. I'm not sure you pronounce that name.
Probably great pronunciation. Go on.
But they said, ha, the United lineup is dreadful. If Chelsea don't batter them by 4 or 5, the FA should just relegate Chelsea. This is basically Penited's second team.
So, to you out there, the thanks for getting in touch.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate that. So, obviously, just as a quick question from me, what is it about the lineup you don't like? Like, who would you like to see in there? And where do you think, with the team that Ollie's picked, that the weak points are in our team? So yeah, if you want to get back to us and keep chatting to us, please.
Yep.
Keep it coming.
Yes.
I think to respond to our viewers' question, yeah, it's not the best selection from United, because it isn't. I liked the way that they set up against PSG, and I think that put them in a much better position to do so, to go and get the win. But I think what you've also got to take into account, and I can say this because I'm a Chelsea fan, Chelsea's defence has been quite vulnerable. I feel like Thiago Silva has sort of settled in now, and obviously has quite a good partnership with Zuma. But football's a fragile game, isn't it? It's on a knife edge all the time. One team can win against another at any point. So I don't think it's as easy as that. And it is a more negative selection from me, from Ollie. I think he should have stuck with the same team that's just beat PSG. But
apart from Maguire for Lindelof, in my opinion.
I feel like Sam saying let us know where the weak points are. I think that'd be a good thing to hear. Whether the viewers think the same things that we do. We very much, you specifically, will are very much against that back line. But
and I'd also like to know from the viewers. Sorry, are you a United fan or a Chelsea fan, or are you just neutral? Neutral observing on the game, who do you support? And, just get back to us.
Yeah, it's an interesting comment because they're saying if Chelsea don't batter them by 4 or 5, then the FA should just relegate Chelsea. That's a really interesting comment.
I'm sure he's only messing.
All right.
Yeah, but no, it's all good questions, lads, and yeah, thanks again for getting in touch with us. We don't normally have enough people getting in touch with us.
Absolutely. So one thing that I just want to say, talking about questions and what have you, there's been a running theme in some of the
Oh,
videos
hang on, we've got someone else on the chat, sorry.
Okay, go on.
We've got Abel I'm not going to even attempt that, but hello to you. Ole is dusted as far as this game is concerned because he lacks a plan B. Chelsea FC fan here.
Oh,
Yeah.
they are, George.
I think that's right. I think he does lack a little bit of a plan B, and you've said it before, haven't you, Will? About
I have,
the fact
yes.
that he's loyal to the same sort of players.
Far too loyal.
I don't know. I think there's a lot to be said about consistency of selection in the Premier League, but you know, I don't know about my problem with the back four is more Maguire, but that's mainly because he cost United 80 million, and you're just not worth that at all, is he? But yeah, no, thanks again for another comment, and yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that one. That he lacks the plan B.
Yeah. And also, as you're a Chelsea fan, there to our second viewer who clearly stated that they were a Chelsea fan. What do you make of Chelsea? You know,
absolutely. What do you think of the lineup?
I don't know if you watch the show on a regular basis, but if this is your first couple of times, particularly after the transfer window, I call it the Galaxy of Stars.
That's your favourite phrase. You probably just nicked that from the Sun, probably.
Yeah,
going forward, and at the defensive line, you know what does Frank need to do with all these players? Because in my opinion, I mean, I'm a Man United fan myself, but personally, I'm a football fan just as much as I'm a Man United fan, so I try and watch as many games as possible. And as you're a Chelsea fan, I said at the start of the season, after the first 2 or 3 games Chelsea played, that there is an argument that they're too top-heavy and haven't got the balance right, and maybe they've almost got too many attacking players out there, which is leaving the defence exposed. So as a Chelsea fan, you'll obviously, and along with JLIWheels here, you'll obviously know Chelsea and watch Chelsea in much more detail, even in the games I watch, than I do, because I'm a fan. So I just want to know, do you feel Chelsea are top heavy, and how can they improve
Absolutely,
without
losing? We've got another thing. Sorry.
The attacking impetus. This is great, God.
This is great. If Lampard went with a 4-3-3, then United stand a chance. But right now, I'm confident we can beat United today.
Is that from the same person?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
If United went for a 4-3-3, yeah, I think I agree with that. Actually, I think, you know, the pace of what would it be? Would it be who would be in a 4-3-3 though? You know, I'd have to remind myself of United's starting team, but you think about, like, let's say James and Rashford on both wings, and then say like Martial in the middle. I think it's probably true that it would stretch out Chelsea's back line, especially. You know, the likes of Aspilicueta haven't got the pace, and Zuma's probably the quickest of the three, and he's probably the least defensive capable. So yeah, I think I agree with that. But I don't know about being confident about a result against United. I appreciate the confidence and the optimism, but you know, football is a strange game.
It is, yeah.
How about and to the viewer, I take it you're not too sure on Chelsea's defence, which begs the question: what's happened to Rudiger? You know, a lot. He's
on the bench. He's back in contention.
Well, a lot's been said about Mesut Ozil not getting into Arsenal and the problems they've had. Now Rudiger, you could argue that Aspilicueta is Chelsea's best defender, but as a pure centre half, if you take Aspilicueta out of the equation, there's not a centre half, even though I feel and JLIWheels feels he could play there. As a centre half, I think Rudiger's Chelsea's best centre half.
I have to agree.
I'd agree with that.
I know you've got Thiago and he's world class, and I'm not putting him in that bracket yet because it's too early. And though we know statistically he's the best centre half. But I mean, over a long period of time, the most consistent centre half has been Rudiger. So, do you think then that that there's been a fallout, or
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
what's happened? Because I mean, he must be looking round thinking, "How am I not getting in this defence? The worst defence Chelsea have ever had. How am I not getting in it?"
Yeah, in fact, lads, I've got a question for you. So you were saying how you thought Azpilicueta, you'd play him in central defence. So would you think a central defence duo of Rudiger and Azpilicueta and then playing there? Do you think that would be a very good choice for Chelsea?
I'd have me first being a United fan, but then Jordan say he watches a lot more of Chelsea again, and the viewer there than I do in the detail that they do. But my three would be Azpilicueta, Rudiger, and Thiago Silva when he's fit. But if he's not fit, then Zuma. They would be. I'd play. If you're gonna play Azpilicueta in centre half, I think you have to play in the three. Personally, but,
Right. Okay. George,
Jordan
what's your view on this?
Is he there?
Is he still there? JLIWheels?
No, we've lost him. Okay, so we've lost.
Sorry. I was moving. I was looking through the comments of the live stream. I would start Thiago Silva with Zuma at the back.
And Azpilicueta.
Or let's say if Rudiger does play well and come into contention more, because obviously something's gone on that we don't know about really. If it was to me and it was like you choose whichever back three you want, I'd go for Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta and Rudiger. I think Rudiger is a great ball-playing centre-half.
I agree.
Similarly to Thiago Silva, he's quite a good passer and certain things. Yeah.
Presence. He's a big lad. He's
good in the air.
Physical. Yeah,
Which is what Lindelof isn't.
He's a threat in both boxes. Yeah, but it's about combinations, Will, as well. Like Rio Ferdinand wasn't great in the air, but he had Nemanja Vidic, who was like a beast in the air. So
yes, of course, it was a great partnership.
You had a ball player there that could pass the ball out and defend one-on-one well, but then you had the robust side of what you might call your modern-day centre-half, but then you had your old school in Vidic, who would just put his head in the way of everything and slide into everything.
I think that was like your Terry and we're talking about a Chelsea example, Terry and Cahill and Terry and Carvalho before that as well,
Yeah.
You think about Cahill, he was the one that sort of stepped out of defence, similarly to Carvalho, whereas Terry was your defensive sort of make those tackles, get your head in there, and but both players could score goals as well. Terry scored 66 goals for Chelsea, and I think Ricardo Carvalho scored 10, including a 40-yarder against Spurs. So,
wow.
I'd like to go on. Sorry, say again.
Whereas you can sort of see in the Chelsea defence, I think the only one that I think is too much, but is a lot of an aerial defence, other than like an aerial presence. Other than Rudiger, is Zuma. He would have scored a header against Southampton if it wasn't for a good save against from McCarthy. So, but yeah, I think that balance in defence is important. That kind of like, United have got it in Maguire and Lindelof. The only problem being that Lindelof is not strong enough defensively, and neither is Maguire really.
No, he needs a good defensive partner with him.
That kind of balance is what they need, but just with better defenders, if that makes sense.
I reckon long term, Maguire and Tuanzebe, if Tuanzebe performs the same way he did against PSG, I reckon Tuanzebe and Maguire would be a good partnership.
I honestly don't understand the hype behind Maguire at all. I think he's so overrated, it's criminal. I think he is so overrated, it's criminal. But that's just my opinion. Football is an opinions game, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I'll tell you what I would like to say, just quickly going back to Chelsea, because I'm aware we've still got a lot of viewers. And the last one of which was a Chelsea fan. And this is a question to Jordan and that viewer, if you want to have your say. No pressure, but if you feel like you want to, please go for it. And you, Will, if you want to tip in. Did Chelsea let Gary Cahill go too early? Now I know you had Rudiger and you had you've now got Silva, but given and Tomori coming through, but given Chelsea's problems, and you look how solid and experienced, I know he couldn't play every game, but how solid and experienced Cahill looked for Palace, and the difference he's made since he's been there, bringing that leadership and just having that experience in the dressing room, even when he's not playing.
Yes.
Did they let him go too early?
Can I go in
Not
first? Can I?
Not for me, because I don't think he played enough.
Go on, Will.
I think Cahill's a great defender. I thought he was good for both England and Chelsea. Like you said, his leadership and
Bolton.
Yeah, and I can't remember him at Bolton. I mean, it seems donkeys ago since Bolton were in the Premier League, so I was out of football, I think, then. But I certainly do remember him playing for Chelsea and England, like I said, and you could always rely on him. And yeah, maybe Chelsea, thinking back, I mean, I think Sarri treated Cahill pretty wrong, I think. I don't think he treated him well.
Interesting.
What was, and again, just for Jordan, unless Jordan wants a view on the Cahill thing, but just a point for Jordan and that the viewer again is, and for us as United fans, this is sort of a general question. And obviously, both as players, they're absolute legends for the clubs. Ollie and Frank have played against each other many times. But at what point, if they don't start picking up results consistently, does the legendary status not burn out, because it's going to be there forever, because the names are written in with that club, and I'm sure everybody will love them whatever happens. But what point does the legendary status run out as an added bonus in terms of
I see what
management?
you mean. Like, for how long does the gimmick carry on that they were ex-players and what have you? Well, my opinion is Frank is younger.
Yes.
And on reflection, given what he had to work with at Chelsea, especially in that first year, he did a much better job than Ollie did.
Yes, I agree with that.
Also, Ollie is older, a lot more experienced as a manager, and really hasn't progressed United as a team apart from the signing of Bruno Fernandes. So, for me, I think time runs out quicker for Ollie than it does for Frank. But I think the PSG result, just because it is the Champions League, and like you said, I don't think anybody expects Chelsea or United to be challenging for the league this year.
No.
The Champions League for those clubs does have to be the top priority. So I think that PSG result will have bought him some time. Other than that, if they'd have lost against PSG and maybe if they lose or draw here, then you've probably got to ask some questions of Ollie. But the difference with Frank is the difference with Frank is that the one alarming thing for him is, and I'm sure it is the same with Ollie sometimes. I think sometimes it's, pure defensive ineptitude on the part of the defence, but sometimes it is also the system that Ollie plays. Whereas for Frank, on the face of it, if you look at the formation, the way they play, the players they've got, the experience between the players, for me, there should be no reason why players that have played at the top level for a good few years now, the likes of Zuma has been in the Chelsea team for 5 years. He won 2 Premier Leagues. He's won 2 Premier Leagues, an FA Cup, one or 2 FA Cups. I think it's 2. 2 FA Cups and a Europa League. He's also got like 10 caps for France, something like that. He's no poor defender. So I think for Frank, the problem is that it is purely, or it seems purely like individual errors, and there's a lot said about how do you coach that, but I feel like an experienced coach, and this is the problem with Frank, that he hasn't got that experience. An experienced coach would be able to sit down and help a player maybe work through an issue that they're having or whatever. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Obviously, Frank doing better with Ole, because of Chelsea, obviously, and the transfer ban. So I definitely agree with you there. Also, I noticed there were quite differences in the way they approach. Solskjaer is sort of quite happy to hark back to the past, whether Frank doesn't particularly. I don't think it really helps Ole by harkening back to the past particularly.
What do you mean?
Well, just mentioning, like what it was like sort of in his day, sort of. When he was a player and stuff.
Excuse me, everyone.
He's got it. He's dying here.
Carry on.
I understand what you mean, but there are a lot of managers that when something happens, are very guilty of going, "Oh, in my day it was this," or "In my day it was that." Think about, I know the VAR situations are a bit different because that is a nightmare, but let's say if a red card goes on or there's a handball and Roy Hodgson said, "In my day this was blah blah blah," are you sort of looking at him and saying, "No, he shouldn't do that," or are you looking at him and saying, "Okay, yeah, fair enough"?
Well, no,
there's got to be a
that
balance,
was fair
I
enough.
think. There's got to be a balance. It's the thing is there's got to be, there's got to be acceptance whether you like it or not, that that's the way it is at the minute. And
yeah.
And like this handball rule is ridiculous. Well, I know it's been changed a bit now, but it was ridiculous. So, but you just, the game's very different to how it was. You'd like to think that the game, the handball rule, for instance, football as a game did not really change its rules other than minor, tiny little things for 80 years. And now we've got the modern technology, it's changed quite a bit, but you'd like to think that, barring a few tweaks, obviously, to the handball rule and maybe slightly to the offside rule, that it actually won't change for another 80 years.
No.
And it won't keep, because football's not a game to be messed about with, really.
Oh, absolutely not.
Obviously you need to get things right. It's like the structure of the league, all this structure talk. You can't mess with tradition.
Yeah, although obviously I would have approved the decision if they did scrap the League Cup. I would.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that's more money for the lower league clubs, like the League Cup, for example.
Now, obviously.
Well, then just have the lower league clubs play in the League Cup.
No, because the League Cup. If you think the money that these clubs get from the League Cup, the lower league clubs. It's absolutely ludicrous to say get rid of the League Cup.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's like nobody likes the Johnston's Paint Trophy. That's not even what it's called, is it? What the hell is it called? The
Checkatrade.
Yeah, the EFL trophy, right? Or the whatever, if you want to call it the name of the sponsor, whatever. That's not for me, to be honest. So the Checkatrade trophy, which is not even called anymore, the leasing.com, sorry, is £10,000, £20,000 per win, and £10,000 for a draw, because there's no losses. Like, there's no... For example, there has to be a winner on the night. It never ends in a draw. So, 20,000 for a win and 10,000 for a loss. Think about how much that means to a lower league club. People complain about it because the Premier League B teams play, but it still is important money for a club. So take that away, that's less money, and then take the League Cup away. For example, I went to Crewe versus Aston Villa last season at Crewe, and there were at least 8,500 fans in a 10,000 capacity stadium. And there was TV cameras there and TV revenue money. That amount of money.
Look at what that does to
that amount of money will massively boost a club.
Okay.
I think you forget, Will. I think this is the danger that everybody's going into. Like that. It's all become about the Premier League now, and football. Yeah. That is the highest tier, but I tell you what, it's not the Premier League that keeps the country going. It's the lower leagues, grassroots football, semi-professional clubs, and lower league clubs. Without them, the Premier League is just the pinnacle. But I tell you what, if you said, right, we're going to get rid of the Premier League, obviously it would suffer, but if you got rid of the lower league or whatever, then there wouldn't be any Premier League because the whole structure and all this about having super clubs and going to play in other spots and you know, getting rid of playing club football in your native country and going to play the Europe, you know, teams all over Europe and just having a Super League is completely ridiculous because there was some suggestion that let's not have promotion and relegation anymore.
Well, how would that work then?
Well, they were on about like when they were on about the top six breaking away and just having the Premier League with the same clubs, the championships.
Yeah, it's like trying to like Americanize the. Like I heard Joe Cole and Jolien Lescott talking about it on BT Sport this morning. I saw a YouTube clip, and Joe Cole spoke about it, and it was honestly, you know, truest thing ever. Like, you know, if you give them on, if you make the Premier League basically run by the top six clubs, you know, it's going to become, you know, it gets boring because the top six clubs will always, you know, got the resources to always be better. Do you know what I mean? I agree with that profusely.
I could say now that if the top six clubs got too big for the boots and like broke away from like, you know, the English pyramid, I would never watch those teams again. Even though I'm a big Man United fan,
wow.
Like I'd be ashamed. I'd go down and watch Crewe every week and support them instead, because it would.
We should do that, by the way. Once football comes back, we should do that. We should go to the Alex.
That would be great, wouldn't it, if fans could get back in?
Yeah, it would, and that'll sort a lot of this nonsense talk out about
it will, yes.
Clubs. Yeah. Just to let
that being said,
you know, boys, the teams are coming out the tunnel.
Okay,
So-
I've just got two quick
think-
questions to ask. Where do you think the game could be won? Which positions on the pitch?
Hang on,
VAR.
Jordan had a question. Jordan was going to say.
All I was going to say was we need to start thinking about wrapping up because the game's about to start.
Yeah, I know, but like I said, I've just got two quick questions. Where do we think the game is going to be won and lost?
In defence.
Okay, Sam?
Midfield.
I'm probably going to go with defence as well, I think. And also, lads, what are your predictions?
No, I'm not predicting it. I think it jinxes it. I'm not predicting it.
No.
Okay, Sam, what's your prediction?
I would absolutely love to get one over on United. Absolutely, it would make my day.
I'm going to go
But saying
3-0 Chelsea today.
Okay, I'm going to go 2-2, I think.
Okay. If I was going to say anything, I'd say either a really one-sided result to either team or a draw. I can't see it being a narrow win either way.
I think it'll be a draw because both teams defensively have the same problems. So, but we'll see anyway. Thank you, lads, for your company, JLIWheels and Sam Taylor, for a good
No
show.
worries.
We've really enjoyed that. That's a really good show.
That's one of the best. Well, and thanks to, I know this is your thing, Will, but I just want to say thanks for people for commenting as well.
Absolutely, that was really good as well. Yeah,
Really interesting to have a bit of a conversation with people in the comments, and that's the kind of thing that we enjoy, obviously. So yeah,
absolutely,
great.
and
Thank you
yeah,
very much.
let's hope for more of that. Yeah. If you want to, guys, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the TubeMix YouTube channel, and we'll see you. Shall we say 7, lads? If you are you available for extra time? 7
I
o'clock.
can.
Yeah, I can. Can we make it? Can we make it 7:30?
Yeah, 7:30 would be fine by me. Okay. So we'll hopefully see you at 7:30 for extra time. So from all of us here, goodbye.
Good night.
Bye bye.